Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Certainly Allah's deen is Islam. 3. 19. What is Islam? Translation of Islam Ki Hai? What did Allah say? The Quranic perspective. Ghulam Ahmed Parwez 1964. Talui Islam Trust. Registered. 25B, Gulberg 2, Lahore. 11 Intellectual rationales for the system of Rabi'ah. It has been noted in the previous chapter that the system of Rabi'ah is established by that group of people who have iman in this truth, that by establishing this system, their selves can develop. And development of the self is the very purpose of life. But the Quran also presents intellectual reasons in support of this system, so that members of this group can also have conviction in this reality on the basis of evidence, and they can present it before others also through evidence and reasons. 11.1 Basis of the capitalist system. The foundation of the capitalist system is based on the concept that every individual considers that whatever he earns through his expertise and cleverness, ability, and skill, is his property. No other person can have any right over it. From the narratives about previous nations, the Quran has presented Bani Israel's Quran as the representative of this capitalist system. In Surah Al-Qasas it is stated that when it was asked of him why, in all this surplus wealth which he has accumulated in this way, he does not consider the right of others, he replied, "This wealth has been given to me because of certain knowledge which I have." 28. 78. I have received this wealth due to my skill, I have earned it through my knowledge and personal ability, therefore there is no question of the right of anyone else in it. In another verse, the Quran states that this reply is not specifically confined to one Quran only. Wherever there are upholders of the capitalist system, this same answer will be heard from them. This is the mentality of these people which is the root cause of the problem. He says, "This has been given to me because of a certain knowledge I have. Nay, but this is but a trial, but most of them understand not." 39. 49. But most among them do not know the truth of how mistaken this mentality is and how baseless their claim is. Let us see what rationale the Quran presents in this connection. If you examine it closely, then this truth will become apparent, that the earning of a man is the collective outcome of the following factors, i.e. intellectual ability which every child gets at birth, initial environment, education, and effects of upbringing, opportunities for the use of ability and skills, the personal hard work of a man. 11.2 The verdict of the Quran. The first of these factors, i.e. intellectual ability, which is of basic importance in this regard, is bestowed free as a gift by nature at birth. It has neither been bought nor can it be bought by an individual. The second and third factors are related to the society within which the child is brought up. Over this also, he has no personal control. Only the fourth factor, i.e. the personal hard work of an individual, is such a thing which the person utilizes by employing his own intent and choice. From this brief analysis, it is clear that whatever an individual earns, his right can only be over that portion which is the result of his personal effort. This is that truth to which the Quran has drawn our attention by stating that man can have nothing but what he makes effort for. 53. 39. As a result of this basic principle, the Quran gives the verdict on this conflict between work and capital, which has, from the beginning of time till today, been a source of disgruntlement for human society, and has remained a cause for thousands of discords and continues to be so. 11.3 Why are abilities different? As far as the difference in intellectual ability of different individuals is concerned, the Quran states that this variance is for the distribution of work. Within a society there are diverse types of work which require different abilities. If there is no difference in the abilities of different people, then the business of a society cannot function. The Quran has stated, And we raise some of them above others in ranks, so that some may command work from others. 43. 32. The difference in abilities among people is so that different types of work can be obtained from one another. There is no doubt that through scientific research efforts are being made to remove these deficiencies, on the basis of which intellectual ability remains low in a child. It is possible that gradually such a time will come when there is not much difference left in the intellectual abilities among children. Obviously, when man progresses to such a degree in these matters, then the economic map of the society will become different. But as long as there remains a difference in abilities, and it seems that some difference will continue to remain. Because man is not a machine molded from metal such that there is not the slightest difference from one machine to the next one. Man is a wide-awake living holder of choice and intent, influenced by hundreds of different factors. The Quran has directed that this difference is only for the distribution of work, not for the distribution of sustenance. The distribution of sustenance will be according to needs. Those people who have a greater ability to earn more should not consider that the whole of whatever they earn is their right and portion. The excess of their earnings is based on those factors in the acquisition of which their personal choice was not involved. Therefore, they have the right to take according to their needs out of these earnings based on these factors. The remainder is the right of those people who, due to lesser intellectual ability, work under their supervision. In Surah Al-Nahl it is stated, Allah has bestowed His gifts of sustenance more freely on some of you than on others. Those more favored are not going to throw back their gifts to those whom their right hands possess, so as to be equal in that respect. Will they then deny the favors of Allah? 16. 71. Allah has bestowed on some among you a greater ability to earn more sustenance as compared to others. Those individuals who have received more of this ability do not return the excess sustenance to those people who work under them, so that they should not all become equal in sustenance. This means that these individuals deny the fact that their ability to earn more has been received by them as a blessing from Allah, and is not the product of their own personal effort and skill, though they should know that whatever they have received as a blessing is all from Allah. And you have no good thing but is from Allah. And moreover, when you are touched by distress unto Him you cry with groans. 16. 53. Therefore, whatever is earned on this basis should also belong to Allah, and not be the personal possession of man. The Quran has made this reality clear. That sustenance should be distributed according to need and not according to the ability to earn. In a very powerful way in the verses associated with verse 16. 71. Quoted above. 11.4 Home as a model. The conclusion of everything it has stated is that you should pay attention to the situation within your home. In it are both children and old people, women and men, and also those who are low earners. Now see whether the distribution of sustenance for every member of the family in the home is according to need or according to the ability to earn. If it is according to the ability to earn, then the children should be kept totally deprived, but you do not do this. You fulfill the needs of the children first of all, similarly with regard to the elderly folk. So why do you not establish the principle that you observe within the four walls of your home, in your society, and for universal mankind? Why do you not base the distribution of sustenance there on needs, rather than on earning ability? This difference of us and them is the product of your short-sightedness and not of Allah. Allah holds the position of the head of the family, sustainer of the worlds, for the whole of mankind. Therefore, His law is that the distribution of sustenance among all the individuals of mankind should be done according to need and not according to the ability to earn. 11.5 Sources of production. There is another factor which is included in the ability to earn, which is known as the source of production. In this matter, the Quran gives fundamental importance to land, and its status is in fact fundamental. During the time of the revelation of the Quran, there was no industry prevalent, which is why it did not mention it specifically. But it is obvious that the basis of industry is also founded on raw material which is itself obtained from the land. Therefore, the principle which is applicable to land will also be applicable to all its derivatives. 11.6 There can be no private ownership of land. In relation to ard, land, the Quran has stated in principle that it is created for the benefit of the whole of creation. It is He who has spread out the earth for His creatures. 55. 10. This is a means of earning a livelihood. And we have provided therein means of subsistence, for you and for those for whose subsistence you are not responsible. 15. 20. And in it we have created sources of sustenance for you and for those that you do not provide sustenance to. In it, there is the wherewithal for subsistence for you and for your cattle. 79. 33. You can take advantage from this i.e., can benefit from it. Private ownership cannot be declared over it. Whatever means of subsistence are bestowed as a blessing from nature, e.g., air, water, light, heat, etc., they should remain equally available for the needs of all of mankind. Ownership over them is only for Allah. Whichever individual claims ownership over them makes himself a god along with Allah. This reality is detailed by the Quran in very clear words. Say, is it that you deny Him who created the earth in 2 periods? And do you join equals with Him? He is the sustainer of the worlds. He set on the earth mountains standing firm, high above it, and bestowed blessings on the earth, and measured therein all things to give them nourishment in due proportion, in 4 periods, in accordance with the needs of those who seek sustenance. 41. 9-10. Tell them, do you deny the sovereignty of Allah who has created the earth in 2 stages, such that it became suitable for you to inhabit? Allah did this so that the nourishment of the whole of mankind continues, but you create rivals with Allah. For this Rabi'ah universal sustenance. He raised mountains from within the earth so that they became the source of flowing water and created the ability to produce subsistence from the land. Then, by alteration of the seasons, scales for 4 harvests were set up. Therefore, the land should remain free forever for the equal use of all those who are needy and should not become the private property of anyone. Just as He had said about other matters that your share in sustenance is only equivalent to the amount of work you do. Similarly, in relation to the land, He has stated that its produce consists of different elements and efforts. If you reflect on this, then this reality will automatically become evident as to how much should be your share in it and how much for Allah. In Surah Al-Waqi'ah, this reality is explained in a very beautiful way where it is said, have you paid any attention to that which you are sowing? You plow the land and sow seeds. 56. 63. After that, is it you who converts that seed into crop, or is it we that do it? 56. 64. If our divine law was not like this and had been different, we could have obliterated it into pieces, and then you would have been left shocked and stunned and would have groaned in grief. We have been visited by ruin. Far from harvesting a crop, we have been left destitute of our seeds as well. 56. 63-74. Proceed forward and contemplate this water on which the whole of sustenance depends. Is it you that rains it down from the clouds, or do we pour it down? 56. 68-69. If our divine law was not functioning in the way it is now, but had been of a different kind, and if we had made water extremely salty instead, like the water of the seas which evaporates and transforms into the shape of clouds, then you could have neither drunk it and nor would your fields have bloomed. You do not even appreciate this either. 56. 70. And proceed further, have you even considered this fire which you light and through which the warmth of life is maintained? Is it you that makes the trees grow from whose wood this fire burns, or do we make them grow? 56. 72. If you pay attention to all these different things which provide the basis to life, then this truth will dawn on you that all this is received from Allah as a free gift, none of your skills and efforts are involved in it. 56. 73. These exist in their own right, and are not indebted to your effort and labor. Now the question is, why did Allah bestow these without anything in return or recompense from you? What is their purpose? The purpose is, so that these become resources of sustenance for the hungry, and become the means to fulfill the universal responsibility of Allah as sustainer. 56. 73. Therefore, you should make full endeavors to accomplish Allah's great program of Rabi'at. 56. 74. This is a joint business in which the capital is from Allah and the exertion is yours. Then divide the profit, the resulting produce, of this business in the same proportion. Take the portion due to your hard work and give the portion which belongs to the capital to Allah. Now the question arises, who to give Allah's share to, because he does not appear in front himself. This is why Allah has declared that his share should be passed to those hungry ones whose needs are greater. Iqbal has explained the subject of these verses in the following beautiful words. Who nourishes the seed in the soil which no ray of light penetrates? Who raises clouds from the waves of the oceans? Who drove hither favorable wind from the west? Whose is the soil, whose the light of the sun? Who has filled the ear of corn with pearly grain? Who has taught the seasons to change with regularity? Landowner. This land is neither thine nor mine. Thy forefathers did not own it, nor dost thou nor I. All this is material for sustenance for the servants of Allah. 50. 11. Referring to this truth in another verse, it is stated, or who is there that can provide you with sustenance if he were to withhold his provision? Nay, they obstinately persist in insolent impiety and flight from the truth. 67. 21. In another verse, then let man look at his food. For that we pour forth water in abundance, and we split the earth in fragments, and produce therein corn, and grapes, and nutritious plants, and olives and dates, and enclosed gardens, dense with lofty trees, and fruits, and fodder, for use and convenience to you and your cattle. 80. 24-32. All these consumable things are for your use and for the use of your cattle. But there is a clear difference between you and your cattle. The state of the cattle is that when they eat their fill, then they do not carry the remaining fodder around, they do not hoard it, they do not hold back sustenance so that unlawful advantage can be taken of the needy. How many are the creatures that carry not their own sustenance? It is Allah who feeds them and you, for he hears and knows all. 29. 60. But it is human beings who hoard whatever is beyond their needs, in order to accumulate material and wealth from this. This is the basis of the capitalist system, through which man kindles the fire of hell in the world, and then burns both himself and others in it. In Surah Tawbah it is stated, and there are those who hoard gold and silver and spend it not in the way of Allah, announce unto them a most grievous penalty. On the day when heat will be produced out of that wealth in the fire of hell, and with it will be branded their foreheads, their flanks, and their backs. This is the treasure which you hoarded for yourselves, so taste then the treasures you buried. 9. 34-35. 11.7 The capitalist system is evil. The Quran uses the term bukhil, miserly, for this system, in which the surplus means of sustenance is held back as material or financial capital, and declares in very clear terms that this system is not good, but is evil. In Surah Al-Imran it is stated, and let not those who covetously withhold of the gifts which Allah has given them of His grace, think that it is good for them. Nay, it will be the worse for them. Soon shall the things which they covetously withheld be tied to their necks like a twisted collar, on the day of judgment. Results. To Allah belongs the heritage of the heavens and the earth. And Allah is well acquainted with all that you do. 3. 180. The people who hold back this material of sustenance which Allah bestows for the economic conveniences of mankind should not think that this conduct of theirs is good for them. Nay, it is evil for them. When the consequences of this wrong economic system manifest, this hoarded material will become a chain around their necks. They should know that all that is in the highs and lows of the universe is in the ownership of Allah. And whatever it is that you do, Allah knows about it. He says that this system and the nation which sustains it cannot continue to exist in the world. This system will be destroyed in the end, and the nation holding this system will be replaced by another nation, which will be the holder of a different system. Behold, you are those invited to spend of your substance in the way of Allah. But among you are some that are miserly. But any who are miserly are so at the expense of their own selves. But Allah is free of all wants, and it is you that are needy. If you turn back from the path, He will substitute in your stead another people. Then they would not be like you. 47. 38. History is a witness that those nations which implemented the capitalist system in their lands were destroyed and ruined. They were far greater in power and wealth than you. 21. 11. Their ultimate end will be yours too, because a wrong system of life produces the same outcome everywhere. The correct system of life is that you should expend maximum effort to produce maximum sustenance, and retain only whatever meets your needs from it, making the remainder available for the nourishment of others. 11.8 Say whatever is beyond your needs. They ask you how much they are to spend. Say, what is beyond your needs? 219. They ask of you as to how much we should keep available for the needs of others. Say to them, all that is beyond your needs, because the means of sustenance are for fulfilling the needs of life, not for hoarding and taking unlawful advantage of others in this way. This is that system of life which the Quran proposes. 11.9 Orders for the interim period. But the Quran takes the system gradually to its complete and final form. The orders given in the Quran in relation to charity, donations, inheritance, sadqa, kare, warasat, etc., are for this interim period when the system is not yet fully established in its final form. Even in these orders during this interim period, you can see how the Quran gradually and unconsciously takes the society towards the complete system of Rabi'a Bayat, charity and donations. Being kind to parents and relations. Through the division of inheritance into smaller and smaller parts. Prohibition of usury in giving loans, offering every concession in the return of a loan, injunction regarding wealth that it should not just circulate among the upper strata of a society. 59. 7. On the one hand, the Quran makes way for general Rabi'a Bayat through these orders. And on the other hand, it keeps emphasizing the establishment of the system of Rabi'a Bayat. In this way, through the process of motivation and direction, it shapes its system. When this system is established in its complete form, then neither is anyone left with surplus wealth, nor is there a need for orders of the interim period. There will be no need to say to the one who gives his all, which is beyond his needs, in the path of Allah, that he should give a certain percentage as zakat out of his possessions. This was the reason that throughout his life Rasulullah did not give zakat, because he never retained any surplus wealth, nor did he leave any inheritance which could be distributed among his heirs. This was the final and complete form of Islam in which Rasulullah presented himself as a balanced model, Uswa Husna, and to which the aim was to take the Ummah gradually. In this system is hidden the secret of the emancipation and eminence of mankind. Emancipation from this Jahannam, hell, in which humanity is ensnared and suffering due to a wrong system of life. The Quran states that the vested interests of the custodians of the capitalist system can do whatever they will. This revolution is bound to come. The hour, period of the divine system, will certainly come. Therein is no doubt. Yet most men believe not. 40. 59. In that era, the way that the sovereignty of Allah is in the heavens, similarly his throne will spread on the earth as well. At that time man will see this reality in front of him in a tangible form. It is he who is Allah in heaven and Allah on earth. And he is full of wisdom and knowledge. 43. 84. Undoubtedly, in the outer universe it is his sovereignty and law which is functioning, and in the human world it is his law which is functioning. This is the objective and aim of Islam, i.e. the establishment of the system of Rububiyyat based on evidence and observation. The foundation of this system is based on this ideology, Iman, which has been discussed in the previous chapters, and this is that fundamental difference which makes it unique and different from the Western democracies and the former, communist system of the Soviet Union.